Okay. If you're taking notes, fine. If you're not, I'll put it in Telegram. I'll send it off to you. These are the different prophecies that I'm going to glean off of. No, we're not turning to all of them. Okay? I will write them down and put them in Telegraph. So if I go too fast, don't go, wait a minute. I send them. I promise I'll send them. Okay? Daniel 8. Daniel 2. Daniel, 7 and 8. Daniel 11, 10, 11, and 12. Joel 2 and 3. Zechariah 12 through 14. Ezekiel 38 and 39. Those are big ones right there, those two, okay? What's obviously missing about end time prophecy? Revelation. I don't even have to go to Revelation. Okay? I don't. Okay. Charlie, inside voice. Thank you. Okay. All right, let me just go there. So last night we talked about Maccabees, right? Okay, I mentioned a person in history. His name was Alexander the Great, right? Okay, so this is, oh my goodness, this is the Middle East. It's like, whoa. So follow me. Turkey, modern day, not historical. Syria, modern and historical. Lebanon, modern and historical. Israel is Israel. Okay. Iran, not historical. That's Persia. Medo-Persia. Okay? India, Asia. China, Asia. Russia, not on the map. Not even mentioned in the Old Testament. Oh, hold on to your hats, boys and girls. Okay. Greece was Turkey. Okay? Greece is modern day Turkey. All your 7 churches, all the 7 churches of Greece are in Turkey today. You can go to their ruins today. Okay? Right here. They're all right here. There's Greece. They had all the islands and all of this. Alexander the Great went from here and went across. Right? Okay? He didn't go west. He went east. He also went south. Egypt. Pretty much has always been Egypt. You got Sudan. You've got Libya. You've got Ethiopia. These are all in Scripture by other names other than Egypt and Israel and Syria and Lebanon. Parts of Greece. Okay? Are you following me? Okay, it's going to be fast. All right. So to take away all the busyness, today you have Turkey. This is Greece. What is this? Italy. There's Rome. There's no Roman Empire yet. Okay? So you're getting a history lesson. No Roman Empire. All right. Right now we're talking Alexander the Great. Comes out of Greece, spreads across this way. So modern day Iran, Afghanistan, parts of Syria, Iraq, parts of Turkey. Okay, Armenia is in modern day Turkey. Armenia had a Holocaust like the Jews. Okay, they were wiped out. Anatolia was also, but right now that's where Amos comes from, right? Middle East. Okay, so this is modern day Jordan. Never existed until England made it up. 1940s. Okay. Lebanon, Syria, yeah, Jordan. So where does Israel's boundary go to? All right. It goes up to the Euphrates River right here, which would be most of Syria, all of Lebanon. Okay? All right. This is what Alexander did. Okay? This is what Alexander conquered. All right? This is Rome. See this? Rome went west. Okay? Did they do part of the east? Yeah, they did. But they went west. That's the Roman Empire. Newsflash. The Antichrist is not coming out of Rome. He's not coming out of Russia either. Okay. This was Alexander the Great. And then he died, and it got divided. Alexander the Great also went down into India. Yeah, he did, which is where he got elephants, right? So they would always have Greek warriors with, oh, I'm glad that picture's a little better. They were not modest in their warfare. They were not modest in their gymnasiums, okay? They weren't. There would always be Greek warriors up here in the basket, but there would always be Indian, right? Okay, so when Columbus came to America, he thought he discovered India, which is why he called them Indians. They're Native Americans. They're not Indians, okay? He thought it was India. But your elephants were warfare, which is what you read about Maccabees, okay? All right. When Alexander the Great dies, there are 4 generals. Well, there's really 5, but 4 are predominant. So we only usually talk about 4, okay? Some will say, well, the scripture doesn't say that. Hold on, it does. All right, but there's 2 that are very dominant. The Seleucid, which is named after one of the generals, and the Ptolemaic. In case you ever wondered why pharaohs were called Ptolemy, the dynasty of Ptolemy, this is where it comes from, okay? This is pre-Rome, pre-Jesus. Okay, so do you see this? Look at this little island right here, Cyprus. Okay? All right, does that make sense?
Yes.
Trying to see where I want to go next. I'm peeking. Okay. Out of the 4 kingdoms, there are 2 main. Seleucid, Ptolemaic. Here's Israel. What's to the north?
That guy.
Seleucid. Modern day Turkey, Syria, Iran, Iraq. That's where your Antichrist is going to come from the north. King of the south. Okay? King of the south. All right, hold on to that. There's 2 lines that follow. Look at that. King of the north, king of the south. You got Persian kings, Alexander the Great. Then you have this. Then you have the Seleucid dynasty, which is king of the north. Antiochus Epiphanes comes out of the Seleucid dynasty, the north. That's where Antiochus comes from. Oh, king of the north. He's a picture of and a type of the Antichrist. It'll happen again, only worse. Okay, king of the north. Here's your references. Chapter 11. Okay? All right, I'll post this. I promise. I'll post it. I promise, because it's a lot of information. It's a lot of history. Okay? But whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. This isn't meant to go, oh, downer, it's going to get worse, and we're going to have a warfare. Yeah, we are. We know we're headed for warfare. The end comes with war. The end comes with hard time. The end comes with tribulation. But you can go overcome, huh? You know what is amazing is if you look through the children of Israel, every time they went to battle, they overcame. They were victorious. Held their heads up high, okay? You're a child of the king. All right. All right. Then comes the Maccabees, right? And they tell that old Seleucid king, no way, right? Okay. Now, if you continue to read, the first book of Maccabees is really good. Remember, the first four chapters of the book of Maccabees talks about up until the time of cleansing the temple, which is what we celebrate for Hanukkah. After that, it tells you the rest of the battles, right? Okay. You read book 2, it tells you how they actually made an alliance, how Rome came into being. And then you get the Roman Empire. Okay, y'all following me so far? Okay, Rome isn't the north. And Rome is over here. Rome is to the west. Rome is not north. Russia's never mentioned. Does Russia back Iran?
Yes.
Do they back Turkey? Yeah. Are they in Syria? Yeah. So are they a part of it? Sure. But we put our focus, okay, and it's not Rome and it's not the Pope. As wrong as he is, And as anti-Christ as he is, he's not the antichrist. Okay? Unless, of course, they have a pope that somehow comes out of the Middle East. I don't know. Nothing amazes me anymore. I don't know. So, whatever. But that's a kind of a stretch, okay? So, whatever. All right. God will surprise you. Don't ever put him in a hole. Don't put him in a box, in a spot, in a triangle, a rectangle. He won't fit, okay? All right. All right. So is anything that you've been taught being blown out of the water yet? Okay. All right, back to the two kingdoms. Okay, where am I now? Let me see where I am in my map so I don't get ahead of myself. Okay, let me show you real quickly before we start reading scripture. This is the Seleucid dynasty. Okay? And what is really disgusting about the Ptolemies is that you actually have brothers marrying sisters, fathers marrying daughters, uncles marrying cousins. Everything God said no. Okay? You will also notice you have several Cleopatras. None of them are the Cleopatra. Okay? So when you study history, don't get hung up on, like last night we read Darius. It's not the Darius of the Bible. It was another Darius several generations later. Okay? Don't get hung up on those names. Look for where they are in history. Put out a timeline if you need to. Okay? Because they're so intermarried, I have no idea what generation you're talking about, okay? Okay. This is the South. King of the South. All right. King of the North. Oh, did I do the wrong one? Did I do it twice? I did. Oh, man. Oh, no, this was, okay, sorry, this is Seleucid. I did show you Seleucid. You will notice some Cleopatras are in here and Bernices, which come from Ptolemy. Okay? Hold on to that, because some daughters from the south, Ptolemy, marry into the Seleucid dynasty. It'll make sense in a minute, I promise. Okay? All right, it'll make sense, I promise. Okay. Remember now, this is the Euphrates River. Someday, all of this will be Israel. It already is, but we just don't realize it yet. We don't see it yet. Okay? All right. Okay. Am I where I want to be? Yes. Okay. All right. Now we're going to go to Daniel. All right. Daniel chapter 11. And for those of you with the complete Jewish Bible, it is after Job. It is after Lamentations. It is after Ecclesiastes. Okay. It's after Esther. Because Esther comes out of Medo-Persia, right? Okay. This is after Esther, too. Okay. Chapter 11. Okay, so the vision and the prophecy starts in chapter 10. If I started at chapter 10, we're going to be here for months. Okay, so I'm highlighting. I'm going to read fast. All right, because I gave you all the background stuff that you kind of need. You're going to have questions. Don't get hung up in the weeds. Okay? Don't stop me, because you're going to say, well, who is that? I'm not going there. I'm telling you right now, I'm not going there. Okay? Well, when was that in history? I'm not going there. We don't have time. I love y'all, but I'm not going there. Okay? I want to get, there's a point to all this. Okay? All right. That's why I gave you all the history. All right. Here we go. However, this is Daniel. I was already standing up to support and help Darius, the Mede, in the first year of his reign. And what I'm going to tell you now is true. 3 kings will arise in Persia. Oh, actually, yeah. 3 kings will arise in Persia. This is the messenger giving the message to Daniel. Not Daniel. Okay, this is the, okay. 3 kings will arise in Persia, followed by a 4th, who will be far wealthier than all of them. And when he has grown strong by means of his wealth, he will stir up everyone against the kingdom of Greece. We're talking about the Medo-Persians. Okay? We're talking about Darius. We're talking about Xerxes. We're talking the Medo-Persians, who will stir up against Greece. Okay? All right. Then a powerful king, All right, I'm going to give you this one. Alexander the Great will appear, who will rule a vast kingdom and do whatever he pleases. But once he appears, his kingdom will be broken up and divided to the four winds of heaven. It doesn't say there's only 4 generals, because there were 5 or 6. Okay, but there were 4 predominant generals, and the kingdoms got divided north, south, east, and west. Okay? Okay. Because it won't be inherited by his descendants, and it won't be ruled with the power he had, because his kingship will be rooted up and will pass on to others other than his own posterity. In other words, they're not his flesh and blood. So if you don't know much about Alexander the Great, in a nutshell, he rose, he was a warrior, he was born into a dynasty of the Greeks. He conquered, and he went, and he suddenly died after 12 years. In the prime of his life, cut off short. Suddenly. Didn't that what we read? Okay. He has generals who divide his kingdom. Okay? All right. The king in the south. Remember where the south is?
The Ptolemy people.
Egypt area. Is it just Egypt? No. Okay. The king in the south will be strong, and one of his princes will gain power over him and have dominion. His dominion will be a great dominion. Egypt is it's in the northern portion of Africa, the continent. Okay? All right. The daughter of the king of the south will approach the king of the north to make an agreement, but she won't retain her power, and his power won't last either. Rather, she will be surrendered along with her attendants, her father, and the one who supported her during those times. Just a side note, Bernice is a name from the Ptolemy, from the south. She married so that they could have peace. Okay? I'm not going to highlight all of them, just a few. She married into the Seleucid. She married into Antiochus. Okay? He ended up killing her and the family. So this has come to be. Okay? Let me continue. But another branch from the same root as hers, south, will appear in her father's place. He will attack the army of the king of the north, enter his fortress, and succeed in conquering them. If you keep reading in Maccabees and you read in history, you're going to see a back and forth between these 2 dynasties. You're going to see back and forth, just like it reads here in Daniel 11. Okay? Afterwards, 11. The king of the south, enraged, will set out to do battle with the king of the north, who in turn will muster a large army, but his army will be defeated by his enemy and carried off. The conqueror will grow proud as he slaughters tens of thousands, yet he will not prevail. Rather, the king of the north will again muster an army larger than the first one. At the end of this period, after a number of years, it will be a large, well-supplied army. Those will be times in which many will resist the king of the south, and the more violent ones among your own people, Israel, will rebel in order to fulfill their vision, but they will fail. Did we read about in the Maccabees how some of the Israelites rebelled and lined up with what we call Hellenists is from Greece? If you hear Hellenist, that's Greek. Okay. That's another dynasty. Okay. Then the king of the north will come, set up siege works, and capture a fortified city. The forces of the south will be insufficient defense. Even his elite troops will not be strong enough to resist. The invader will do as he pleases. No one will be able to withstand him. So he will establish himself in the land of glory. Who are we talking about here?
Israel?
Yes, but who? Antiochus Epiphanes. He will establish himself in the land of glory. And he will have the power to destroy it. Did he? Yes. He will determinedly advance with the full force of his kingdom, but he will make an agreement with the king of the south and give him a daughter in marriage. And his object will be to destroy him, but the agreement will not last or work out in his favor. It happens over and over again. You think they'd learn. Next, he will put his attention, marriage has always been, if you can't destroy somebody in warfare, do it by marriage. Just saying. Kings marry princes as princesses, right? There's political marriages. Okay. Next, he will put his attention on the coastlands and islands and capture many, but an army commander will put a stop to his outages and cause his outrages to come back upon him. After this, he will put his attention on the strongholds in his own land, but he will stumble, fall, and not be seen again. Which happens. He falls too. Okay?
Antithesis?
And Antiochus.
Antiochus.
Okay, that's the last of the people I'm going to name. Now I'm going to read. All right? Okay. In his place will arise one who will send a tax collector. Okay, maybe I lied. Through the glorious kingdom. But within a few days he will be broken, though neither in anger nor in battle. Who comes into the land of Israel with taxes? Just say them. Who? Romans. Romans. Okay, all right. Moving on. There will arise in his place a despicable man, not entitled to inherit the majesty of the kingdom. But he will come without warning and gain the kingdom by intrigue. Large armies will be broken and swept away before him, as well as the prince of the covenant. All of a sudden, we've jumped. Alliances will be made with him, but he will undermine them by deceit. Oh, by deceit. The enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. He is a liar. Okay, a deceiver. Then, although he will have but a small following, he will emerge and become strong. Without warning, he will assail the most powerful men in each province and do things his predecessors never did. Like I said, you ain't seen nothing yet. Okay. Either recently or in the distant past. He will reward them with plunder, spoil, wealth, while devising plots against their strongholds, but only for a time. England kind of did this. England divided land, not by tribes, not by understanding the culture, not by understanding the Middle East, but by what they thought. We're going to draw this line and you get this. And they're nomads. They're travelers. They don't, lines mean nothing to them. Okay. He will summon his power and courage against the king of the south with a great army, and the king of the south will fight back with a very large and powerful army, but he will not succeed because of plots devised against him. Yes, those who shared his food will destroy him. His army will be swept away, and many will fall in the slaughter. These two kings, bent on mischief, north and south, will sit at the same table speaking lies to each other, but none of this will succeed because the appointed end will not have come. I don't want to overread. Okay. Then the king of the north will return to his own land with great wealth and his heart set against the holy covenant. He will take action and then return home. At the time designated, he will come back to the south. Designated times. God has designated times, and he knows when all of these things will take place. But this time, things will turn out differently than before because ships from Kittim. What is Kittim? Cyprus.
It's where?
Cyprus. That little island I showed you. That little Greek island. Cyprus. Okay. Where Jewish people were interned because they couldn't enter Israel during the Holocaust. Because England wouldn't let them enter their own land. But sent some of them back to Europe to die. So that this courage will fail him. Then in retreat, he will take furious action against the Holy Covenant, again showing favor to those who abandon the Holy Covenant. Armed forces will come at his order and profane the sanctuary and fortress. We've seen this happen before. Okay. They will abolish the daily burnt offering and set up the abomination that causes desolation. Did we not read last night? Antiochus set up an abomination of desolation. It's going to happen again. Those who act wickedly against the covenant he will corrupt with his blandishments, but the people who know their God will stand firm and prevail. And they did. The Maccabees did, right? Those among the people who have discernment will cause the rest of the people to understand what is happening. Iron sharpens iron. We've got to get into our gifts. We need to, right? So that we can enlighten each other. All right. Nevertheless, for a while they will fall victim to sword. Do we not even the elect could be deceived if that were possible? Maybe for a little season you're unsure. You know, there's a modern day prophet. For a while I was like, and now I'm like, oh no. Nope. Even some of those with discernment will stumble, so that some of them will be refined, purified, and cleansed for an end yet to come at the designated time. Okay? All right. The king will do as he pleases. He will exalt himself and consider himself greater than any god, little g. And he will utter monstrous blasphemies against the God of gods. He will prosper only until the period of wrath is over. Why? Because that's what God has ordained. Don't think the enemy's in control. You better understand, if you pray, your will be done, you better be understanding your will be done. His will might be for you to walk through tribulation. Are you going to trust him? Yet I. Right? For what has been determined must take place, and God is not a man that he can lie. Okay. He will show no respect for the gods of his ancestors or for the god women worship. He won't show respect for any god, little g, because he will consider himself greater than all of them. Kind of sounds like Satan, the adversary. But instead, he will honor the little g, god of strongholds, with gold, silver, precious stones, and other costly things. He will honor a god unknown to his ancestors. He will deal with the strongest fortresses with the help of a foreign god. He will confer honor on those he acknowledges, causing them to rule over many and distributing land as a reward. Okay, stop there. Don't read ahead. The Middle East has always been fair ground as a reward to give to generals, plunderers, right? Oh, I'm going to put you in charge. I mean, even Herod. The Herod dynasty didn't come out of any of those dynasties. Herod started his own dynasty. But he ruled in place. Rome gave him power. They give land away, okay? You don't give land away. Netanyahu learned that, 20-something years ago? When he gave Gaza away, and he will never do that again, okay? He learned you don't give God's land away, okay? Don't do it. All right. I'll show you the picture. Cyprus. Okay? Kittim, Cyprus. Here's Israel, right? Syria or Aram. Okay? Assyria, different. Okay? Assyria. All right? You see any Russia?
No.
You see any Italy? Rome? Nope. Not in the prophecies. So why did we come up with Rome? Why did we come up with Russia? Because it fits man's idea. It fits man's understanding, and we have, for all of our generations, don't knock them, don't abuse them, don't get upset with them. We do it. We're trying to say, oh, this is this, and oh, this is this, and oh, this is that. We try to see, where are we in prophecy? Oh, that could be, oh, that fits that. Well, not exactly, but if you move it like this, it'll work. I don't have to move any of the Seleucids or the Ptolemies to make it fit into Daniel 11. Not any of it. Okay? You don't know it necessarily before it happens. You might get a glimpse and an idea. For how long have I said the Antichrist is going to come out of the Turkey area? Mm-hmm. Okay, not necessarily Turkey, but the king of the north. Mm-hmm. Okay, Syria, Iran, Lebanon, Turkey. All right? That's north. It's not Russia. Okay? So I have an idea. I've had an idea for a while that this is what Scripture says. All right? But not until recent events have I seen, whoa. I've always said, I'll know it when I see it. Mm-hmm. Okay? Where is this? I don't know, but I'll know it when I see it. Why? Because I study it. Why? Because I read it. Keep reading it. You don't have to understand it. Keep reading prophecy. Keep reading Scripture. Eventually, and when you need it, it'll be there. And then your understanding will explode. All the dots will connect. Okay? Keep reading. Say, it doesn't make sense. You know how many times I've read prophecies and they didn't make sense? But when they all of a sudden came to light and something happened, I went, whoa. Okay? Okay. Here we go. Did I do that? Yeah, I did that. Okay. Okay. Today there are two main Islamic factions. Sunni and Shia. Okay? Sunni and Shia, or Shiite. Okay? Those Shiite and Shia are the same. So, and Sunni, but they're different. The vast majority are Sunni. Okay? Shiite is a very small minority, but you know those pesky little minorities have a tendency of being bullies or oligarchs. Didn't we study that one? An oligarch is a small group that likes to control. Okay. Roughly, there are 1.6 billion Muslims in the world. 85% of them are Sunni, 15% are Shia. Okay? I was going to move the TV.
Good luck with that.
Sunni. Egypt, Sunni. Sudan, Sunni. Libya, Sunni. Ethiopia, Sunni. Yemen, Shiite. Saudi Arabia, Sunni. Turkey, Sunni. Syria, Sunni Shiitish. I'll get there. Lebanon, yeah, Christian. Used to be. Afghanistan. It used to be Sunni until our country got stupid. Now it's run by Shiite. Okay? You see full burqas? Oppression? Shiite. United Arab Emirates, Sunni. They're much more moderate. Okay? Iran used to be Sunni. And if you go back to the 1970s, they dressed exactly like I dressed in the 1970s. Women went to college, women had degrees, women had a brain, they had a voice, they could. And then our country did something stupid.
Again?
Repeatedly. Okay? You following me? Iran. The people are Sunni, but the reigning forces are Shiite. Okay, now I'm going to take you over here to Syria. The people, there's Christians, there's what you call Kurds, there's who are a totally different thing that we'll go to some other day. And Sunnis. There are Shiites that are coming and being supported from here that are going in, have been going into Syria and then in tunnels into Lebanon, into the Gaza, and down here to Yemen. But the Syria leadership is this strange little people called Alawites. They're very tight. They don't even rate on that 85-15%. Okay, maybe 1-2%, maybe less than that. Okay, are what's called Alawites. They align more closely with Shiites. So Assad, y'all know who Assad was? Okay, he was the dictator of Syria. Dictator. Even if he was elected, he was Alawite. Okay, from the Alawites. He lines up more closely with Shiite. You following me? Okay. Netanyahu went to the UN a couple weeks ago. And he showed, can you see these? Okay, this is really hard to see down here, but this little black spot is Yemen. Shiite. It's behind the bar at the UN. They're little, okay? Syria, Iraq, Iran, Yemen. Shiite. Saudi Arabia, Sudan, Egypt, Ethiopia, India, Sunni. He didn't even know what he did. There's your Daniel 11. He never referenced Daniel 11. And yet, south, north. But something happened in Syria, right? Okay. Oop, I lost it. Anybody know who this man is? He's a Syrian rebel. He's Sunni. He was backed by Turkey. He now is ruling Syria. People used to think that Assad was the Antichrist. He came out of nowhere. No, I'm not saying he's the, no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, see where you are in the north. Shoved away the south again. Okay. His name is something, something, something Al-Golani. From the Golan. Do I have a map? Nope. Nope. Okay, when I get to Israel, Golan. The Golan Heights. Border Syria. So he's from the north. Okay. So when I say keep your eyes on Turkey, I mean this area. Right? Turkey is Sunni, and they're pushing, and they've pushed out all of the Kurds. They've pushed out the Armenians, annihilated them. They are massacring Kurds. They're pushing their way toward Iran. Okay? There's a dominant control here for rulership. Okay. All right. Let me go back to Daniel, and I'm going to start at verse 40. When the time for the end comes, now we're closer to our time, we've jumped. When the time for the end comes, the king of the south will push at him, while the king of the north will attack him like a whirlwind, with chariots, cavalry, and a large navy. This is written for their understanding, okay? All right. And navy, I'm like, how can landlocked countries have navy? They do. Because there's a lot of little seas and oceans and... Okay. He will invade countries, overrun them, and move on. He will also enter the land of glory, and many countries will come to grief, but these will be saved from his power, Edom, Moab, and the people of Ammon. He will reach out his hand to seize other countries too. The land of Egypt will not escape. He will control the treasures of gold and silver, as well as everything else in Egypt of value. And Ethiopia will be subject to him. That's also down here. Ethiopia's down here. Okay, I think Put is Libya. I could be wrong on that one, but it's in this region. Now where am I? Where? 44. Thank you. However, news from the east and the north. News from the east and the north.
I couldn't see through you.
News from the east and the north.
Okay.
What's in the east? China, Japan, Thailand, North Korea. What's in the north? Russia, Iran, Iraq, Turkey. However, news from the east and the north will frighten him so that he moves out in great fury to ruin and completely do away with many. Finally, when he pitches the tents of his palace between the seas of the holy mountain of the holy glory, he will come to his end with no one to help him. I'm going to stop there for 1 second and show you another map. This is the Mediterranean Sea. It's called the Great Sea in Scripture. You got the Dead Sea. You got the Red Sea. You got the Black Sea. You got the, what is it, the Aegean or whatever? Okay, Aegean, thank you, sea. You got the Sea of Galilee, which is not a sea.
It could be lake. Oh, it's not salty?
So, here you've got seas and a great mountain. What's down here? Saudi Arabia. What's down here? A mountain where God's glory was. I'm not saying this is it. I'm asking you to just keep your eyes open. God's glory was manifest, right? There's a mountain.
Sinai.
Mount Sinai, but it's in Saudi Arabia. It's not in the Sinai Peninsula. It's in Saudi Arabia, okay? You've got a mountain up here, Mount Hermon, where glory where I believe transfiguration happened. You've got a mountain here in Jerusalem, where God's holy temple was and his glory showed. You've got seas. Wherever the mountain is and the seas, this area right here can be between the seas. And any mountain, you can use these seas and be this mountain. You can use these seas and be this mountain. You can use these seas and be this mountain. And still right here is where Megiddo is. Okay? Were we there? We were at Megiddo. There's this huge plain where a great battle can take place. A lot of them already have taken place there. Okay? It all fits. Without stretching. Glasses would help. Okay. When that time comes, Michael. Who is Michael? He's big.
He's the angel.
He's big.
Big angel.
He's an he's like what we call him an archangel, like like a top dog angel.
Yeah.
They really don't see themselves that way. They're servants of God. Okay? Do you talk to them or command them?
No.
Nope. Michael, the great prince who champions your people, will stand up, and there will be a time of distress unparalleled between the time they became a nation. Oh, Israel became a nation when God said they were a nation, and he changed Jacob's name to Israel, but then they went into bondage, and then they came out of Egypt, and then they entered the promised land. But when did they become a nation?
In 1948.
1948. Are we in that generation?
Mm-hmm.
At that time, your people, let me repeat that one. The great prince who champions your people will stand up, and there will be a time of distress unparalleled between the time they became a nation and that moment. At that time, your people will be delivered. Everyone whose name is found where?
Written in the book.
Woo! Written in the book of life. My name's there.
Mm-hmm.
I venture to say, your names should all be there.
Yep.
Okay. Many of those sleeping in the dust of the earth will awaken, some to everlasting life and some to everlasting shame and abhorrence. Does that resurrection happen at the exact same time? See, don't think that just because Scripture said the resurrection, some to life and some to death, is going to happen at the same time. Now you can go to Revelation. The resurrection of those that are going to live life happens 1,000 years before the resurrection of those who go to eternal death. Okay? So don't read Scripture and go, oh, well, that has to be, and then this is this. There's a 1,000-year gap in that verse with the word and. Okay? All right. And some to everlasting shame and abhorrence. But those who can discern will shine. It's Hanukkah, shine. Will shine like the brightness of heaven's dome. And those who turn many to righteousness like the stars forever and ever and ever. The end. Keep your eyes here and here. Okay? Here and here. Sharp discernment. Don't let these fool you. Don't let these lead you to fear. Okay? We don't walk the same way that the world walks. We are separate. We are different. And guess what? We're going to stand out as different. We are. That means you're going to be leaders, not followers. Right?
And you're going to smile.
Right?
Yes.
You're going to be a leader, not a follower. Right? You're going to be a leader, not a follower. Right? Uh-huh. Right? Okay. Okay.
We definitely need some good leaders.
Yep. Okay. So what happens at every feast and festival that any quote unquote Jew celebrates. They tried to kill us. We won. Let's eat.
So right now we're in peace, more or less, compared to what's coming.
Oh, yeah.
So within what, 10 years?
We don't know. We don't know. We can't pinpoint.
So it could be 20, 50, 100?
Oh, I don't think it'll, I don't believe it could be 100. It says a generation. Okay? A generation is 80 years. Right? It says it's 70, 80 if it's at best. We're beyond that as far as Israel becoming a nation. When these things begin to happen, look up. Your redemption draws nigh. If you wanted me to absolutely nail something, I'd say we're in tribulation. We're in transition. Birthing pains. What happens after birthing pains? Transition. Okay, it's short. Transition is short. There's birthing pains, which we have been experiencing for years. And then there's the birth. But in between time, there's this very intense moment called transition. Because transition means change. Okay? And I think we're right at the very beginning of that. If we're not at transition, we're really close to it. Because birthing pains, rapid. They increase. And to watch Syria and Assad fall,
That's huge.
okay, that is, and I don't think most of the world has any clue. They just watched prophecy happen.
Yeah.
And Netanyahu's holding these two maps with the kings of the north and the kings of the south. Okay? So hold on to your hats, boys and girls. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
So most of the world's oblivious to all this.
Most of the world's oblivious to this, yeah.
All they're going to know that things are going to get tough, they're going to freak out.
Yeah. But you are not going to let your eyes lead you to fear or your ears because you already know what's coming. But you also know, like the Maccabees, like Joshua, like Daniel. How about Mishael, Azariah, and Hananiah? They were thrown in flames that people outside the flames killed over and died for. And yet their clothes weren't singed. They didn't even smell like smoke. My whole house still smells like latkes. I'm just saying.
A bad thing.
No, but I'm just saying, okay? My whole house smells like latkes and fried oil. Okay? They didn't even smell of smoke. That's what I want you children to hold on to. Know who your God is. Okay?
Because he's with you. He was in the flames with us.
There was a fourth man. Wasn't a man.
Right.
Okay? All right. Please stand. May you be encouraged today that you serve a great, mighty, awesome God. He has never failed. His word is true. All of these prophecies that come true, and that, I mean, wow. And his prophecies sometimes are given thousands of years. If you read the next verse in Daniel, it says, Daniel, you shut it up. But are you going to tell me what it means? Nope, Daniel, it's not for you. I want to know. Maybe we don't. Maybe we want to walk in trust. Okay? All right. V'yirechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha Yair Adonai panav elecha v'hunecha Yisai Adonai panav elecha v'yishlemcha shalom. May the Lord bless and keep you, make his face shine upon you, and be gracious unto you. May he lift up his countenance upon you, and give you peace. Let your light shine in this dark world, okay?
Yeah.
All right. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.